Every week she's traveling, she's taking 3 days off and only training 4. It's harder for her, but yet, again, you know, she's still been at every training camp, every opportunity to be there with the girls. So for someone like her, it's not going to be too bad.
And there's her new coach, Larry, probably the coolest cat in the competition. Just as an athlete watching him, he was amazing. And we will be back. Keep that lazy boy in the reclined position. We'll be back with more gymnastics live from Des Moines in moments. Nineteen-year-old Nastia Liukin getting ready for her balance beam routine in a few moments. But before that, we're going to go over to the uneven bars and 17-year-old Olivia Courtney from Orlando Metro in Orlando, Florida. Her coach, Jeff Wood, probably one of the giants of the sport of women's gymnastics, both literally and figuratively. The big man, you can see him in the background right there, looking on.
You know, John, he was actually a football player. You realize that?
You know what? I did not know that, but it does not surprise me.
Olivia's a really powerful bar worker. She's got a lot of releases.
That's the power you're talking about, Tasha. Right there, those release moves definitely get some airtime.
That's right. However, we've seen a few missed handstands, and her lines are a little questionable.
When you say lines, tell the layman what you mean exactly by that.
The part from her hips to her quads, you know, there's a pike where the butt is, and it needs to be straight. Every pike, the judges could take 1/10, up to 3/10, even with the new code, maybe even 5/10.
And from what I remember from Beijing and even seeing the gymnastics this year, the execution part of the score, the judges do not hold back. They are brutal. A routine that looks flawless, they come up with a point of deductions. And as someone who knows gymnastics, I'm still baffled by how they find all those deductions.
That's right. Execution and the new code, they're hitting really hard. John, you know, we were looking through the scores of a international meet, a Japan meet that the girls went to, and the execution scores were ridiculous. We're talking 7.8s, 8.8s, just really, really hard on execution these days.
You know, when I talked to Nastia earlier this summer, we talked about, you know, what she was going to do the next few years, and here she is getting that focus that we've become familiar with. But the one thing that amazed me is she really has that fire, that love for doing the sport of gymnastics, and she really wants to get back out on that floor. Quickly over to the beam, we got Briley Casanova, also from Woga. Nastia will follow her. Briley's only 14 years old.
That's right, another one of the juniors here in the senior competition.
Briley, another one of those that you talked to, I think, before the competition about how fun and exciting it is to be in that same gym with Nastia, and every day she's a little bit in awe.
That's right. She was telling me, I asked her, you know, how is it training with Nastia Liukin every day? She's an Olympic champion. She goes, you know, Tasha, I'm honestly starstruck every day, and I can't believe that she's continuing like she is. She still looks great, and it's just inspiring.
And she's not bad. You know, we talked a lot about Sabrina coming in this competition as a junior that could be an up-and-coming star, but, you know, 3 years is a lot of time to make some big jumps, and this girl's got some of the foundation definitely to build on. Certainly she's in the right gym. And on cue, my curse comes true and she falls right when I say something wonderful, but she's in the right place if she wants to go somewhere big.
Most definitely. And, you know, being out there with the seniors today is definitely a great experience for her.
Ooh. Oh, and you could see that right off the beam. She did not get up.
That's right. Right on the takeoff. There was no punch whatsoever.
The cannonball off the end of the beam is not the way you want to finish, but still. Oh, and there she is, the queen of USA Women's Gymnastics. Right now, what's she saying? You've been there. What's coming out of her mouth? Give me a little insight, Tasha.
I think she's saying, why didn't she punch the beam? Same thing I'm saying, you know.
Talking to someone who knows her well, is also world champion 1991, Kim Zemeskel. Now one of the best coaches in the country. There she is, the queen. Thinking about her training now and thinking about her in her gym, I imagine leading up to the games, the intensity had to be just immense. They had that single-minded focus, her and her dad, winning the Olympic Games. They weren't shy about, you know, expressing that desire and that goal. And now I imagine going into the gym, it's got to be a sense of relief, you know, that no matter what you do. And I mentioned that to her mom a little bit when I got to the gym yesterday, and she said, you know, even when you have a bad day, when things aren't going good, you can kind of pat on the back and say, it's okay, I'm still Olympic champion.
And definitely, I mean, going into the Olympics, you give your blood, sweat, and tears day in and day out to go for that medal. And Nastia gave everything she had and, you know, achieved her goal. So it's good to see now she can still continue, go back in the gym and have some fun.
And her dad, Valery, I had the opportunity to watch compete and also compete against. I started my international career when he was kind of finishing his, and I always was just, he was the gymnast I never could be. He was the trickster. He could pull anything out of the hat, and that was definitely not me as a gymnast. So I sat back and I watched him, and just when he walked on the floor, and you can still see it, he's got that strut. You know, he might be a little man, but he's got the stature and the aura that is bigger than this whole arena. So it's fun for me as a fan of his when I was a gymnast to see him out on the floor. So does she still get nervous? I mean, really?
You know, as great of a competitor as Nastia is, she still gets nervous. You know, being on tour with her for 2.5 months, even in the shows sometimes she get nervous, and I had to be like, it's okay, it's just a show.
It's okay, you're the Olympic champion.
Right?
Did you forget that? Her first performance since Beijing.
You know, and let's note this performance for Nastia. You know, she's not here to qualify for Visa Championships. It's really just an exhibition to get her out there. She really just came because she wanted to compete and, you know, just be out in the spotlight again, competing with her teammates.
And this is the only event that she's going to do tonight as well. You know, she doesn't look like she's quite in the shape that she was in Beijing, obviously, and I don't think anyone would expect that. But it's funny because talking to her, you know, outside the competition, she's like, oh, I'm terrible. I'm not in the shape I want to be. But watching her in bars, you and I are both like, yeah, right. I mean, come on, seriously, everybody in this arena would die to be able to do what you do. So maybe she's not in Olympic champion shape right now, but, you know, out of shape for Nastia is in awesome shape for a lot of people.
That is correct. And, I mean, her beam looks great.
Beautiful. Come on. You got to give us a little wobble. I mean, he can't be perfect, right?
All right, round off layout. Exhibition routine, of course.
I'll tell you what, that looked pretty darn good. I mean, she watered down the dismount, obviously, but, you know, for the layman looking on in that routine, there was a lot of tough stuff. A lot of stuff I remembered seeing in Beijing as well. And honestly, I'm not a judge, but watching that routine, a lot of stuff looked just as good as it did a year ago. I imagine that's got to be a relief. I mean, even though she knows this is an exhibition, she also knows that everyone is watching her. Everyone in this arena was waiting for that minute and a half right there. And there's a lot of young girls that want to be her, and there's Mom. I wonder if Mom watched the routine. And, you know, Mom, I talked to her about that too. She never watches the routine. I go, you going to watch the routine tomorrow? She goes, I think I will. I think I will. Yeah, we'll see about championships, and if she's in London, I bet she's not watching it again.
Good for her. Yeah, I remember being at meets, seeing her in the back, pacing. She couldn't watch Nastia. I think I even heard something at the Olympics. She had to stay back at the hotel because she couldn't even come to the arena to watch her.
Look at Valerie. He doesn't even care. Whatever. Not Larry does. He's talking to Ivana, and he can care less. Nastia's over on the other side. Looks like she's having fun, though. Mom looks relieved a little bit as well. I got to ask her if that's the first time. She must have watched it when she was a little kid, I got to think.
Probably when she was a little kid, but the moment she came to Elite, I don't think she did.
So you go to the judges,
You know, just being out of the sport and just having an objective point of view. It's funny, you know, Nastia is super nervous about doing this exhibition beam routine and, you know, just really hyped up, but very, very nervous and kind of feels like maybe there's people here judging her. But the funny thing is, these people really could care less if she came here to do a beam routine. They would come just to see her sign autographs, just to see her be in the arena.
Yeah. You know, as far as goals for Nastia, I know talking to her, she wants to be the most decorated American gymnast ever. And she's won 5 Olympic and 9 world medals. Shannon Miller has won a total of 16. And, you know, I know it's a friendly rivalry there, but I know she wants to have that title of having the most world and Olympic medals. She's got a little work to do. I mean, it's not easy to win those world and Olympic medals. We'll see what